So first, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for inviting me back. It's so delightful to be here and see your smiling faces and just bask in this love energy that you have here. I just love it. So thank you for being here, and happy Memorial Day weekend. Thank you for that acknowledgement of that. You know, for me, it's a 3-day weekend. Yay! And it's the official, unofficial beginning of summer. You know, we celebrate all that, but it truly is a very important time. And I did want to start with that, just to acknowledge the true meaning of Memorial Day. That it is a day of remembrance and a chance to honor those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. So we do hold them in our hearts today. I don't know how many of you know, my day job is I'm a hospice chaplain. So, thank you. So I do a lot of memorial services because my patients pass. And I've done a number of them at the military cemeteries here, Miramar and Fort Rosecrans. And I just have to say, I mean, it is a truly sacred, hallowed ground there. And I was just remembering, you know, just every time I go, I get this little lump in my throat when I hear the taps and I see the gun salutes and the flag ceremony. You know, it's just, it's incredibly moving. It's incredibly moving. And so it's lovely to have a day when we all honor that. So it's kind of a weekend of remembering the dead. But I also know that as we turn our attention to honor those who are gone, it also opens us to a greater appreciation of life itself. And that's just how it works. It's just how it works. So today we honor them and we open to that, the life that is here right now. Life in all of its complications and complexities, right? Our marvels and mysteries and questions and all of that. But I'm coming back to that word mystery a lot today. Because life is really quite the mystery, isn't it? You know, one of my favorite shows is the PBS show Nova. You know, it's just mind-blowing, you know, with the science and the math and the cosmic questions that the shows raise. But there was one I came up, I heard that just blew my mind. Mathematicians have been trying to calculate the odds of life as we know it, kind of spontaneously coming into being, and life being that just simple single-celled organism like bacterium. So the odds of that happening, absolutely staggering. In fact, Sir Fred Hoyle described it as likely as a tornado sweeping through a junkyard and assembling a Boeing 747 from the contents. Okay, the odds of that are pretty good, you know. And then you just consider our bodies, right? We're made up of 70 trillion cells, and each one contains 10,000 more molecules than the Milky Way has stars. And all of them work in harmony. Awesome, awesome. And each of those cells hold within the nucleus our DNA, right, which is the blueprint of life. And did you know that the DNA from your 70 trillion cells, they would fit in the box the size of an ice cube, but if they were stretched, unwound, that string would stretch to the moon and back 400 times. I mean, it's just like, no, I can't even keep this in my mind. yeah, ice cube, and yeah, it's like, wow, wow. It is. It's an endless mystery. It's an endless mystery. And just as we begin to understand just one tiny aspect of this universal puzzle, it only opens the door to millions of more questions, doesn't it? So Albert Einstein believed that the key to life is to just simply embrace the mystery. Embrace the mystery. He said the most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. That's the most beautiful experience we can have, is just in the mysterious. It's the fundamental emotion which stands at the cradle of true art and true science. And I think that is just very, very true. Very true, yeah. And it makes me think about how truly my life, especially as a hospice chaplain, I am embracing and surrendering to that mystery all the time, all the time. As I sit with my patients who are at the end of their lives, and I have that unique opportunity to kind of have that bigger perspective, that wider, broader perspective, that the divine mystery unfolding. My patients look to me for guidance, but the truth is they are my greatest teachers. There's nothing that I can really bring. I can't count the number of times when I've been absolutely stumped by what to say next, what to do next. My brain, wants to come up with the perfect thing to say right now, and that's not the work. That's not what it is. What's really needed is just for me to be fully present there with them. To be an open and compassionate space so that they can explore their mystery, their answers. They can find it within themselves. And by me being there, that helps them. And I'm listening with my heart and not my brain, and that's what opens that divine channel. Just sitting in the unknown, being receptive, right? So that I can companion them through the sacred time. And when I do that, that divine voice does speak. And more times than not, what comes out is not only what is really helpful for that moment, but it's also something that I need to know for myself. It's just awesome how spirit works. It's just absolutely magical. And it reminds me of this experience I had with a patient a while back now. But it was an amazing example of what happens when you simply just follow Spirit's lead. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the story of Phyllis. So Phyllis was a voracious reader, and I might get a little choked up through this too, because she's very dear to me. But she was a freelance writer throughout her life until a stroke. She had a stroke, and it took away her ability to communicate and clouded her mind. And that was when I met her. Her son tells me that she was a religious scientist for many years. And so I offered to bring some Science and Mind magazines, right? That I thought, well, maybe, during my visits I can read them to her. Or the caregiver could read them. So I went home and I have a shelf full of Science and Mind magazines, years worth, okay? So I just randomly pulled a couple of, that corresponded to the coming months, so maybe they could do the daily meditations, Brought them and read an article to her my first visit, and just to kind of gauge, and it was hard to tell if she could really track it and follow it, but she was listening attentively, so I thought, well, that's a good sign. So, and the caregiver said, yeah, I'll read every once in a while to her too. So the next time I went, the caregiver was all excited. She said, you'll never guess. I was flipping through the magazine, and I was reading some things to Phyllis, and I came across an article that she wrote. Oh. I'm like, what? Okay, first of all, what are the chances that random, that I did? Okay, that's pretty cool, Spirit. Nice one. And then she showed me the article, and I read it to Phyllis. And I was just awed. The amazing thing. The story was all about an experience that she had had taking care of a friend of hers as he was ill and dying. Right? And it was just amazingly written, just beautifully, elegantly written, of this transcendent experience that she had. She wrote about how, as he was taking his last breath, she said, I suddenly knew, without a doubt, there is a God, and death is absolutely nothing to be afraid of. She just got it, and she wrote about just that feeling of the divine in and as and all around her, and she was so, she knew it at a place she had never known it before. And it was so touching, I was so awed, and just amazed that at this time, this message would find its way back to her, just as she is going through this experience. You know, you just can't create these things. You just have to let spirit go. So it was perfect, it was beautiful, you know. Just goosebumps, I still get goosebumps when I think about that. Just riding, you know, that's riding the waves of the mystery. And, you know, it is amazing how spirit moves when we just give it space, when we just kind of step back and just allow it. And then we can just watch it unfold. But it's not easy to stay in that open, receptive space. We want to be the actors. We want to take charge. It takes practice, and it takes faith. It takes faith. There's a great quote from Rabbi David Wolpe in his book, Making Loss Matter. He says, faith is not knowledge of what the mystery of the universe is, but the conviction that there is a mystery and that it's greater than us. The conviction that there is a mystery and it's greater than us. That's what faith is. It's allowing the gears of the universe to just turn silently until a solution suddenly emerges. And that requires patience and trust. And those can be very uncomfortable at times, right? Feelings. And even a little scary sometimes. Even when we know that it's okay, right? I mean, think of it, if you cut your finger, you know if you just put a bandage on it and leave it alone, it's going to heal itself. The body knows how to do this, you know? And it's the same with our lives. There's a beneficial healing force that sustains and guides us to that perfect solution. What it takes is for us to kind of surrender and allow it to do its work. Once we've done what we can on the physical level, we must step out of the way and make room for that co-creator, that divine intelligence, to play its part. And then we can just sit and watch how it reconfigures circumstances that mysteriously around us and brings about the perfect solution. Here's how Ernest Holmes explained it. There is an irresistible urge back of everything to create, to express life. There is an emotional craving for self-expression in everything. This power already exists at the center of our own being. It isn't something we go in search after. This power already exists within us. It's not something we have to go and search after. We just have to ask, and it is given. Oh, isn't that this month's theme, right? Ask, and it is given. Yes, there is an unlimited abundance just waiting to be back. I'd like to think of it like, it's like you're placing an order to the universe. The same way you would place an order online catalog, right? You're going through the catalog, okay, I want this. When you're placing an order, you don't like call the company and go, could I please have this? Right? You say, this is what I want, and the only question you have is, when's it going to come? You know? How can I get that? You know, when we know what we want to create in our lives, the universe responds by sending us what we've ordered, right? And it doesn't have our mailing address per se. It's even cooler than that. It's like our energy is used like a beacon to draw it to us. Mysterious yet wonderful. And so while we do what is ours to do, Spirit will meet us halfway. And of course, in my experience, it's always more than halfway. I just have to take that little baby step and, you know, it comes. Here's my favorite image of how that works. I imagine that we're surrounded by invisible waiters, okay? You know, they've got the white towel over their arm, and they're just poised. What would you like? The only problem is they're deaf, so they can't hear our words. The only way that they know what we want is by the actions we take. We have to act first. We have to act first, right? We have to take that step forward, even if it is a baby step, for the universe, those invisible waiters, to respond to our request. We have to get past our fear and actually take that step. And it does work because we're co-creators with the divine. You know, we do our part in creating our goals, and that means we're kind of doing our part of the bargain. And then we just wait and allow. The capable hands of the universe, right? Yeah. You know, one of the greatest examples for me is the experience, the work of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore when they stepped into faith and began what is now known as the Unity Church. At the time, it was called Society of Silent Unity. But what I love about their story is they made a covenant with God, right? A contract. And they never wavered from it, and you know what? God didn't either. But this is how their contract read. We, Charles Fillmore and Myrtle Fillmore, husband and wife, hereby dedicate ourselves, our time, our money, all that we have, and all that we expect to have, to the Spirit of Truth, through it to the Society of Silent Unity. It being understood and agreed that the said Spirit of Truth shall render unto us an equivalent of this dedication in peace of mind, health of body, wisdom, understanding, love, life, and abundant supply of all things necessary to meet every want without making any of these things the object of our existence.
Wow.
Wow, what a powerful agreement, right? And did you catch that? We'll do this. We expect this back. I love that idea. You know, and it created an incredible legacy of faith and love in the world. I mean, it worked. It worked. When I first read that, I was so inspired, I decided to create my own covenant. So it was 2008, and I had just finished my chaplaincy training and had absolutely no idea what was going to happen next. I'm unemployed. I was like, okay, I don't know. But I did recognize that I had a passion for the work. I felt really called to it, and I just trusted that the universe would be there to provide for me. So I wrote my little covenant. I, Jeanne Phillips, dedicate myself to being an open, compassionate sanctuary of the heart, where those traveling through the end of their life journey, their earth journey, will find peace, acceptance, and love. I surrender to the mystery and embrace the unknown with courage, humility, and wonder. Get that? Surrender to the mystery, note, and embrace the unknown. In return, this reciprocal universe will guide me to the exact people, places, and experiences that most benefit my ministry, providing ample support and abundant supply to meet and exceed my needs. Oh, wow. It's been 7 years now, and this contract is still in very good standing and has not let me down yet. Absolutely, absolutely. And in fact, within months of writing that, I had the full-time job that I now have as a hospice chaplain, and I had entered ministerial school and completed that as well. So lots of unfolding and absolute supply all the way through, So my life really reflects this, this truth. Absolutely. And all of our lives can. So, and of course my path continues to unfold and deepen. And it even brings me here to speak with you, to share my stories and my experiences, kind of full circle in that sense. But it really is just another mystery, kind of unfolding, always in unfoldment. And I'm glad you're along on that path with me. So I do want to give you some homework this week, if that's okay. Okay? I invite you to consider creating your own covenant. Covenant with God, with life. The question is, what do you dedicate yourself to? And what are you willing to accept and to expect in return from Spirit? From this abundant universe. Placing your order. Right? So I just encourage you to write it, to speak it, to claim it. That's our work. That's our work. To revel in the mystery. To fully embrace it. Because it's all yours. It's all yours to explore and to enjoy. Do I hear a yes?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Wonderful. Thank you.